I know it's hard.
Thank you. Depend on each other here. Welcome back to another episode of Political Cadence.
Howdy, folks.
We're covering the previous fortnight. Today is August
23rd.
So
go golf yourself, I say.
Go golf yourself. Go golf yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, we have our friend Will from California, and actually from Cincinnati originally, and Aaron, who you can say the same thing about, from Cincinnati originally,
Yeah.
but in California. So welcome, guys.
Yeah.
Ahoy.
Yeah. So Friday evening, they released the first batch of Epstein files, something like 33,000 pages. And we are to be believed that the Democrats are scouring through those documents right now. Aaron, you seem to have some.
Well, there's both parties have groups going through the documents, and they're redacting.
Right.
And it's all the news I really know about it.
Right.
Well, you kind of knew that everything was going to be redacted anyway.
Yeah.
Nothing really clear is going to come out of it.
Not for us.
I don't think so either. I think we're
somebody's going to leak the clean docs at some point.
One hopes.
Leak.
Leak.
But I don't think that I'm taking all this with a grain of salt right now for the reason that Will just mentioned. They're not. They released the full transcript of the Ghislaine Maxwell interview with Trump's lawyer, Trump's personal lawyer, Branch?
Blanche, I think. Yeah.
Something like that.
Serving in a government role, but actually still beholden to his client, Donald John Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard enough of that already that I don't believe a damn word of it.
No,
Here's
it's
Well,
sickening.
considering that Ghislaine just got a one-way ticket to Club Fed.
Right. She's been
with work furloughs.
right.
Isn't her job child sex trafficker?
Yes. Now, according to her testimony now, of all the people that are named or potentially named in the Epstein files, there's only Jeffrey Epstein who was the pedophile. And she herself was his only assistant that had any knowledge of it. Because in her testimony, not only Trump, she cleared absolutely everyone in advance of any wrongdoing in the Epstein.
She doesn't want to be suicided either.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that's the most damning thing. Not that, we pretty much knew that she was going to whitewash Trump out of it, right? But the fact that she won't implicate anyone is the most
Not
damning.
even the Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they're letting her, go to that place in Texas and have furloughs and take tennis lessons and shit.
Right. Yoga
In
class,
Club Fed.
pottery.
Yeah, the people there are not happy.
But she said that she didn't see in all her time of knowing Trump, she made sure to call him president, even though the time that she's talking about, he was not president at the time. But
And you should have heard Philip discussing that.
she was effusive in her praise of his behavior and how much she really liked and respected him.
How he was always a gentleman to her.
And her proper British accent, So I think Will, I think you mentioned before it was even released, we already knew that this was a waste of time. That it doesn't matter what she says. Her word is mud.
Yeah.
And who's to say that later on down the line, Trump won't go ahead and what's the word I'm looking
Fully
for?
pardon her.
Yes, fully
Oh,
pardon. Because I believe that that's coming.
Oh, absolutely.
I do too. And there was a time just a couple of months ago that would have caused an absolute eruption in the MAGA ranks. I'm not so sure anymore. I don't think that they're already been calibrated. They've already been admonished by the president for being fixated on it and being deceived by the Democrats. He called it a Democrat hoax, the entire thing. He's totally revised history, as he always does, on this entire narrative now. And I feel like I'm prepared to accept pretty much any whitewash.
Any crap he throws down their throat.
What do you guys think?
I don't know. There is a bipartisan thing now to release all the Epstein files.
Yeah.
Forget the guy's name. One's the Republicans from Kentucky. I do remember that.
Rand Paul.
No.
The Shears?
No, he's the governor.
Okay.
Dag nabbit.
I agree.
But, I don't know how it's going to happen, but I don't think there will be no resolution until the whole thing is released.
And even then.
That being said, I don't think it's ever going to be fully released, unfortunately.
No.
Well, I think they may release every document. They're just going to be so redacted, you won't be able to. It'll be like law on an entire page.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Basically, what they're going to do is run it through a sieve to make sure that no mentionables are mentioned.
Right.
Yeah.
They're going to water it down as much as possible, and then call themselves being transparent.
Yeah, because you can see it through the water.
Thomas Massey is the Republican from Kentucky, and Ro Khanna is the Democrat from California.
Okay.
They're planning to force a floor vote on their resolution to compel the full release of the Epstein files soon after Congress returns September 2nd from its month-long recess. So,
Yeah.
see what comes
Good
of
luck
that.
with that one.
So when they come back in session, with any luck, it'll be job one. It'll come back to the surface. It'll be, because as it is, the regime is throwing up numerous smoke screens to try to take your attention away from the Epstein files. Going to great lengths.
That's the entire Republican agenda: deflect.
Right.
Yep.
That's their
Starting
entire
with
playbook.
immediately after our last episode, the big topic was probably this Alaskan summit with Putin. And that turned out to be an absolute shit show.
Sure did.
Yeah. When they, right from the start, we can start with the fact that leading up to the summit, Trump, on multiple occasions, said that he was going to Russia to meet Putin.
Yeah.
He didn't even know where he was going. He was going to Alaska. So right there, he had some cognitive misfires right from the outset. He didn't really seem to be engaged with exactly, first of all, he didn't know where he was going, but eventually, I guess they sorted that out. Yeah.
Well, I blame what's her name for talking about how you can see Russia from her backyard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that got me was how Trump looked after the meeting.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy looked like he downed 4 or 5 buckets of KFC.
Well,
Putin looked like the cat that ate the canary when they're shaking hands in that photo.
Mm-hmm.
He always does, though.
Well, I mean,
But I think he got one over something happened.
Yeah, every time they meet in private, it's like that.
Right, he comes out of it. He looks like he's seen a ghost, or he's been completely gamed,
Which he has.
or he's been led to believe that he's been won a particular point with Putin and he's proud of himself about it, or something, that he's kind of impressed his mentor. But the visuals of this meeting were ridiculous because they landed on the tarmac almost simultaneously, and the regime, the first thing they did was roll out a red carpet. Now, what kind of message? I mean, if you're a head of state and you roll out
For
a red
Trump
carpet,
or for Putin?
yeah, that's and not only that, you had American soldiers on their knees unfurling this carpet in preparation
In front of Russia.
Yeah.
For Putin.
terrible visual.
Mhm.
And then you had President Trump that walked along the red carpet and could not maintain a straight line. He seemed to be walking, he would not have been able to
Wonky.
pass a breathalyzer test, I don't think. It didn't look like, by his walking at least.
Yeah, he doesn't drink supposedly, but
Yeah,
he's
I guess
heavy into the Adderall.
I shouldn't imply he was drunk, but he was definitely not stable. And
He wasn't cognizant.
Yeah.
I'm thinking he walked like a 78-year-old with a heart problem.
Right. And so, I mean, he made several demands before this, or not demands, but he asserted that
He was going to do this and he was going to do that, as usual.
he needed Putin to make major concessions,
I think
or
None.
else there would be some nondescript, retaliation. And
Yeah, sure.
did that happen? What do you guys? Did that happen?
No.
I don't think
No, they briefly met publicly and they met for a few hours privately, right? And every time somebody would keep trying to go in to get Trump, they'd kick them out.
so. Yeah.
And he flaked on the dinner, Putin did. But the one interesting thing was, did you see that story that someone had left the plans for the whole thing behind, like what room everything was going to be in and the whole agenda? It looks,
Yeah.
I can tell by seeing Phil that, he's all over it.
Yeah. Well, that's a fuck up right there,
Yeah.
for sure.
hmm Well, do you think it was an F up or do you think it was a purpose?
No, I think it was, they just figured somebody'd clean up after them and they left their sensitive documents behind.
Well,
So it must have been Hegseth.
you're right. You think about Signal Gate, you think about their lack of security and inexperience, and it's not hard.
Think about all the hotel help that's been busted and sent to the deportation camps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nobody to clean up their mess.
No.
Somebody walked up and said, "What's this?"
Mm-hmm. This looks moderately.
State Department.
It says top secret right here. Let me look.
Jiffy Pop is not what it used to be. It did not, it broke open. Popcorn spilled all over the stove. It was horrible. But the popcorn's good.
It was never good.
This is actually good.
It's just nostalgic.
Yeah.
It isn't
I
so.
No.
think it was good.
No, it's good. It's buttery. Just the right amount of salt.
I shouldn't talk. I don't eat popcorn. I get stuck in my teeth so bad.
So Zelensky was not. He was not at this meeting. I don't know. Was he invited or he didn't, or he declined or whatever?
No.
Putin didn't want him
No,
there.
he
Putin
wasn't
won't
even
participate in anything that recognizes Zelensky. Oh, I'm frozen, aren't I? Putin won't participate in anything that recognizes Zelensky as a head of state.
Right.
It's bad
So,
enough that the European leaders actually had to escort Zelensky into the White House to keep Trump and Vance from attacking him again.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Right. So
That was pathetic.
when Zelensky showed up to the White House the following Monday, he was accompanied by European leaders that were there to try to reinforce the message that Trump, the alarming visuals of the first meeting on Friday with Putin, and the visuals for that were equally as alarming for different reasons. First of all, he met Zelensky at the White House, and there was no pomp and circumstance. It was, Trump. I think he likes to stand next to Zelensky because he's taller and he likes to have those visuals. But then he's suffering these other things like these problems with his ankles and these health issues. So they held a meeting by the Resolute desk where Trump was sitting, and he had all these European leaders lined up in front of him like they were all in class. They were all there to listen to the words of the master, and then
to the chief douche. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think the main takeaway from it all was that neither the meeting Friday or Monday really had much at all. There was no productive result from the meetings because Russia resumed bombing Ukraine, I think Friday evening, Saturday night, I don't know. Just bombing the shit, like totally just rebuking Trump, the overtures to peace. And, the whole affair, both of those meetings were completely feckless, it seemed to me. It was completely for...
The sad thing is Trump won't even know about it because he doesn't go to his briefings.
Right. What I enjoyed was Zelensky's savagery when one of the guys from the last meeting, he tried to apologize to Zelensky for telling him that he wasn't wearing a suit, and Zelensky turned around and says, "Well, you're wearing the same suit from the last meeting."
Right. Yeah, he turned it around on him.
Just absolute savagery.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, me too.
A lot of people forget that before Zelensky became president of his country, he was actually a comedian.
Yeah.
You can watch a series on Netflix.
His most famous bit, I think he's playing piano with his dick.
Yeah. Type of guy you want to lead your country, for sure. But yeah, he turned it around on that guy.
His finger as his dick, I think.
That guy's Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend.
Yeah, or as I call her, Marjorie Taylor Queen.
Yeah, but total, that's what they've got these press conferences that are just completely bamboozled with pro-Trump, MAGA shills, and he's like leading the charge. I mean, he's more on Trump's dick than Marjorie Taylor Greene right now. Marjorie Taylor Greene is actually, she's demanding the.
She's upset that she passed that bill. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's upset that she didn't read it.
She got what?
She's upset that she didn't read the big beautiful bill.
Oh, that's right. That was her defense when she was talking about the vote, right? She was like, "Well, I didn't read all that, and if I had, I wouldn't have voted in favor of it." Yeah.
All that is lip service.
Well, what it is admitting incompetence at your job. She has one job.
Yeah.
As representative.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's not keeping her mouth shut.
No. Legislators are supposed to read the laws they pass.
So what was that whole big show about?
At least have their staff read them and tell them this, and this.
Right. Give them some talking points. But if not for peace in the Ukraine war, what was this all about? What was the whole thing about?
Pomp and circumstance.
And diverting attention from the Epstein files. These are the links that they'll go to. Anything they can do to deflect interest from what American citizens were interested in. Which leads into the next big thing of the week, and that was like the deployment of the National Guard to Washington, D.C. That's something that we had talked about from the very beginning of this show. It's like, when are they going to institute martial law? Well, you're starting to see the beginning.
This is the beginning. If you get away with it, you got away with it in California. Now
there's two parts to this. There's two parts to this, guys. One, Hegseth is now ordering that the National Guard be armed. And 2, Trump is now talking about deploying the National Guard in Chicago and New York City.
Right.
He's also said Cincinnati. He didn't say anything about the National Guard, but he said the word Cincinnati. He needs to get our city out of his goddamn mouth.
We had an incident here. Now, I only made one video.
Freaking incident.
I only made one video for our show this time, but I did make a little video about, and I kind of kvetched over whether I play it or not, because I don't know that it actually makes the point that I wanted to make, and that's that that the regime will take any incident, any singular incident, any perceived violence, and turn it as a reason to deploy a police state. Now, Cincinnati's had its problems in the past, and this thing I'm about to show you is very ugly. Very, in fact, here's a trigger warning. If you don't like to see violence, if you don't like to hear discussions of racial tension or whatever, you might want to tune out on this for a second. But I think what it is this type of thing goes on in every single city in this country. And so they're just waiting for these things. And what we're seeing here is this is the type of thing that could arrive the National Guard to Cincinnati at some point, or any city. Mm-hmm. So let me play this a little bit.
But January 6th was a day of love. Remember that?
Right.
What I saw is a mob of lawless thugs beating up on an innocent person, and it's disgusting. And I hope every single one of those people who engage in violence is prosecuted to the full extent of the law. When you have a grown man who sucker punches a middle-aged woman, that person ought to go to jail for a very long time.
Cincinnati police say the brawl started around 3 a.m. Saturday in downtown Cincinnati. A white man is seen punched and kicked by a group of black people. We do not know who started this brawl or why. And another
meanwhile, controversy within City Hall. Cincinnati City Council members now calling out their colleague after controversial comments made on social media by President Pro Tem Victoria Parks.
In her now viral Facebook comment. It reads, quote, "They begged for that beatdown. I am grateful for the whole story." Parks. Councilmember Mika Owen shared, quote, "Councilmember Parks has been a civil servant in Cincinnati for decades, and her service is deeply appreciated. However, making comments that inflame a violent incident is never acceptable." Mayor Pureval also weighing in, saying, "I disagree with Victoria Parks' comments. No one deserves to be a victim of violent crime."
We have other cities also that are bad. Very bad. You look at, we're going to have a tremendous success in what we're doing. Other cities are hopefully watching this. They're all watching, just like everyone's watching here. They're all watching, and maybe they'll clean up.
All right. So what
I didn't hear him say Cincinnati. I was
It
waiting.
wasn't in that particular video. He said Cincinnati in something else.
Well, he may have, but not. I don't remember. Okay. Anyway, the point is.
I sent you the reel.
Okay. The thing is, these things, crime has been down in Washington D.C. Right. Mm-hmm. Here's what happened. Okay, let's backtrack.
The U.S. in general.
What happened in this incident was that a drunk guy accused a group of black people of stealing his wallet and aggressively confronted them about it. Turns out he did not lose his wallet.
He had it the whole time.
But he confronted them about it. So he wasn't, nobody, that's true. What they said is true. Nobody should be subjected to that type of violence. But they're going to take, you can see it in the voices of Mayor Pureval and the other city council member who kind of admonished
Mika.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That they're trying to tread lightly because they realize that things like this will be exploited by media, empires like Fox News.
And it is being touted on Fox News.
And it will go up the flagpole.
Yeah.
And before you know it, we could have, from a single incident like this, we could have National Guards on the streets of Cincinnati.
Right. And if you can get away with it in a city like Cincinnati, then.
But I'm interested in what you guys take. You guys are both Cincinnati natives. I'm interested in what you think.
What's your take as someone watching it from afar?
First I've seen
Honestly, go ahead, Aaron.
That's the first I've seen it. I've seen stuff like that in person in Cincinnati. I was on a Domino's pizza run and someone caught a ride with me. I forget why they were in the truck. I didn't really know them. And while I was up selling a pizza, he was getting his ass kicked on the street by like 4 people. And I don't know what he did. But yeah, it happens. People do stupid shit and
you FAFO.
They get their ass kicked. Yeah.
Yeah, my one friend, she dated a guy for a little while, and his big thing was it would take about 1 to 2 shots of tequila, and the next thing you know, he wanted to beat up every single black person in the city. Don't know why he was racist on tequila and not in his normal life. Maybe that was real.
I think the tequila just brought out the underneath.
Right. It was it was the tequila. I mean, no, let me rephrase. He was allergic to tequila and it caused him to get violent. It was some kind of weird brain reaction to tequila specifically. He could drink most of the other liquors, no problem, but give him a shot of tequila and he wants to go.
But he didn't attack white people.
I don't know, because they weren't going to give him enough of a fight. I think that's the real reason. He needed to fight. He wanted to fight, and he wanted a real challenge. And let me tell you, most of the time he walked away from fights with 4, 5, 6 people.
So what about you, Will? What did
regardless of race.
What was your impression of the incident?
Well, considering that in my childhood, I actually grew up in Over the Rhine and Lower Clifton, as well as Coreyville, Mount Auburn, and such, I'm really not surprised that something like this has happened.
No.
I'm not surprised at all because, I mean, stuff like that, racial assaults, I hate to say it, but it occurs on a regular basis. And unfortunately, the target area happens to be Over the Rhine.
Now, this was during a festival.
So do you feel like that Cincinnati is extraordinarily prone to this as opposed to a lot of other American cities?
In Over the Rhine, I would have to say yes. Because, again, growing up in Over the Rhine, I've seen some things in my life where, I mean, it just blows you away. I'll leave it.
They had the riots there, and didn't they?
Yeah.
Didn't they have curfews in Over the Rhine? 10 years
ago.
15.
It was on the whole city, not just Over the Rhine.
Do you feel?
Yeah, but Over the Rhine was where it was the epicenter.
Yeah. And it's always been an epicenter for violence, unfortunately. And even though, yes, Cincinnati spent all these dollars trying to clean up Over the Rhine, which I applaud them because it's been needed for a long time, they really didn't address the problem of violence. No.
Was the Over the Rhine riots, were those triggered by the Reading Road White Castle shootings where the police shot an unarmed black man?
I believe so.
There have been several incidents in the city.
But still, it's like every time something like that happens, Over the Rhine is always the epicenter.
Okay.
And
so do you feel like that the president could be just, I mean, it could escalate.
I wouldn't say that the president is justified in sending in the National Guard, But I
At
think
this
the
point.
Cincinnati police need to actually look into this and start stepping up patrols in over the Rhine.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it boils down to the Cincinnati police in this case.
Here's
Not the National
and
Guard, and
Drunken
definitely
morons
not the
should not
military.
accuse people. Drunken morons should not accuse people of theft when
yeah.
they, have no
Well, and
evidence.
here's the thing: if it had been a black on black, it wouldn't have made the news in Cincinnati.
No, and that's just as likely to happen. And white on white,
Oh
just
yeah,
as likely.
So now,
Mhm.
okay.
but it wouldn't make the news.
So, but I think that, we have a regime right now that will use it. The excuse of
Anything.
something like a personal attack or a personal crisis for the president, like the Epstein files. They will use an opportunity like this. The things in
As a
Washington,
pretense. Yeah.
what the crime rate in Washington is actually down.
By 24%.
He's using it to get the homeless people off the
Right,
street.
right. Where's
Right.
he putting them?
He's basically politicizing it, as he always does with
He did
everything.
And he said he wanted to fix the homeless problem, but what's he doing with the homeless?
ICE.
I have
He's
no idea.
arresting them.
Moving, he's arresting some, moving the others to where? Baltimore.
Alligator
Fuck, fine.
Alcatraz.
Well, a lot of the ones that are not
Documented.
legal citizens, yeah,
But he's not,
or have any dubiousness about their
If there's any question.
heritage
Mhm.
or risk,
he's
Yeah.
not doing it yet, but
Mhm.
he's not doing it yet. But it could be it could be American citizens. I mean, he's talking about
Yes.
expanding the program. I know that there's this federal judge decision to get rid of dismantle alligator Alcatraz, but I fully expect that to be overruled by a higher
Supreme
court or an
Court.
appellate court at
Yeah.
some point.
Yeah.
It's going to be there. There's going to be more of them everywhere. And it's not just going to be undocumented people. It's going to be disenfranchised American citizens. Okay. But,
Yeah. I wonder how many people are homeless due to the jobs that are being lost, due to the budgets that are being cut, due to the chainsaw Doge.
Yeah.
right.
And,
Yeah.
and I wonder how
mean,
many of those people get arrested and
How many
sent-
people are living in their cars? There's this whole thing where this judge has people come before him and their cars have been repossessed. And all these people, 10 people in a row on this little program on YouTube, all just saying, well, I was living in my car. So now I'm homeless. And that's why I'm before you, because I was ticketed for homelessness.
Well, they try to frame homelessness. If you're homeless,
trespassing, is that what the crime would be?
I'm sorry, say that again.
trespass.
Trespassing, is that what the crime would be? Because I don't
I
think
think it
homelessness
depends on
is a
where they
crime.
were, but I know the one lady was there trying to get her car, which she couldn't do because she didn't have the money because she didn't have a job. This other guy, he did have
Hard to
a
get without
job.
an address.
Right, exactly, no address. He actually did have a job and he was a student, but what happened was his parents died. And after his parents died, he didn't have insurance anymore because he was 24. He didn't have insurance and he didn't have a house. After 6 months after they passed away, his house was repossessed. So he had no place to go.
Well, I think the thing is, they'll have you believe that the only reason someone doesn't have a job is because they're lazy
Mm-hmm.
or they can't
Mhm.
or they don't want to work. That's the way they frame it.
Or they're mentally ill.
That if you end up on the street, it's because you don't want.
And even if
To
they're
work,
mentally
and it's
ill,
like-
they figure you can do something, which is
Guys like
Yeah.
Nutlick and they make these sweeping accusations that
Not like
people sleeping on the couch and playing video games and all this bullshit. And
Mhm. and it's just
it's not easy to get a job. You can get, you think I'm willing to work. You say I'm willing to work. I'm willing to do anything. I'm going to go out and I'm going to work. I'm going to take a job at McDonald's because I need to feed my family or whatever. And they can come back and say, I'm sorry, you're overqualified for this position.
Mhm.
You can't just
Mhm.
get a job out of thin air.
Yeah. Mhm.
And
Especially
and the
when
thing is, like with my case, You know, I'm up here. I'm in the paint hard. I mean, it's job, apply, job, apply. And yeah, I'm going hard in the paint. But at the end of the day, people are looking at me. Well, why don't you have a job yet? You're not trying hard enough.
Yeah.
It's like, do you have a vehicle?
No.
Okay.
And again, well, you guys know, so I won't go any further on that.
Yeah, you don't have to go into.
Yeah, no.
But,
sorry.
You know, I think about that all the time. I mean, at least, we're very vulnerable. But
if I lose my job, I can't really lose my job. I've been there 35 years. So what they would do is, if they eliminated my position, the first thing they do is offer me retirement. And I'm just like, yep, I'll take it.
Until they change the rules.
I can retire from the age of no, because it's PERS.
Okay.
My
Well, the
retirement
other thing is, too, guys,
PERS.
I was talking with one lady about a position here in Sacramento County. And, you know, we were first, the resume came up and she was like, well, you know, I looked at your resume. I said, yeah, I check all the boxes. I check all that you're looking for. But then when it came down to the driver's license, it's like, well, let me talk to my manager and we'll get back to you. In which I never hear from them again. They absolutely ghost.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting you bring that up.
And they're not allowed to ask your age, which is why they're looking at your driver's license. So until they've actually offered you the position, you don't show them that. That's not legal.
I don't know if it's just your age, because my company.
Your company's full of shit. I didn't say that.
All right, let's not get into it. But I do know that HR departments really have no business looking at your driver's license. They really don't.
By law.
But they do.
Yeah, because and the majority of the time, the reason why they do that is because they want cheap labor.
Well, they have to prove your identity.
Yeah.
Well, they have to prove your ethnicity.
They don't want to get arrested for harboring illegal.
They can do that after they offer you the position. They can rescind the offer after they've offered it to you, but until they offer, they don't need to see your age.
Well, before we move on, I will still say that the timing of the deployment of the troops, to the National Guard, everything about it stinks of a regime that's trying to deflect attention from the Epstein files, even though there are ulterior reasons to do it as well.
Right, it's part of the agenda.
I feel like the timing is kind of suspicious. And also, I would also say there are ulterior motives to the gerrymandering that's taking place in Texas. And, you know, it was well chronicled over the last fortnight that a lot of Texas representatives, Democrats, left the state in order to break quorum so that they would not be able to vote on redistricting Texas.
Yeah, I think that was happening at our last episode, if I remember.
And then they came back.
That was kind of the day after they all went to Chicago,
and some of them actually ended up out here in Sacramento, and they met with Governor Newsom.
Yeah, California too.
Now they came back, and they were told that they couldn't leave the Capitol unless they signed a paper allowing or saying that they were open to or wanted to be surveilled. Okay, to have police escorts everywhere they go in the Capitol, or everywhere they go, at home, the Capitol, didn't matter where it was. And only one person stood firm, and she ended up being, a couple of people did come back and join her. They tore up their papers, and they came back and joined her in captivity. I don't know who they were. I haven't seen their names, but she's the only one that, really, to me, she's the hero in this situation.
She's in like
Yeah,
the Texas State House or something. Yeah.
Nicole
Yeah.
Collier.
Yeah, Nicole Collier. Thank you.
Yep. And basically, when you look at it, it's false imprisonment.
Yeah.
Right.
Kidnapping. Somebody said kidnapping. She's actually sued them.
Sounds pretty
Yeah.
unconstitutional.
Yeah. So Abbott and the Texas GOP have both committed a felony.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Aaron?
I said it sounds pretty unconstitutional, huh?
Yeah.
Very much so.
I can't wrap my head around that. I'm not, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know how you can get away with sequestering somebody in a room and not allowing them to leave, and that is not some sort of kidnapping.
I think they allowed her to like go to her office and go to the bathroom, and they left her with the cell phone. So there's that. But still, it was, like you say, they committed a felony.
In our eyes,
did they
yes.
pass that vote? It is a felony.
Yes, they did eventually get a quorum. They did eventually. The Democrats were being fined so much every day that they had all accrued about $9,000 worth of debt. So,
and that should be wiped away. How did they accrue that debt? For what?
They were fined for not being present.
While they were.
They're saying that they're flight risks.
Whatever.
And one of them said, "Why would we be considered a flight risk if we walked in here of our own volition?"
Right.
So I have mixed feelings. I was like, they kind of celebrated themselves as being heroes, and I'm like, yes, to an extent, but
Collier, yes. The rest of them, no.
If you could have held out, I don't know, but that's a lot of money. It's a difficult thing. I mean, it's a hardship on them.
Well, the other thing is too, guys. Keep in mind that Governor Newsom now has Measure 50 on the ballot for November, which is basically redistricting here in California to counter what Texas just did.
Right.
Yes, that was the next.
Yeah, Will and I get to vote for that.
Yeah.
And I'm voting yes.
Yay.
You'll be voting. We'll be right behind you there.
I mean, ordinarily, I'm against gerrymandering. Honestly, it's evil.
Well, yeah.
But
Governor Newsom had
something has to be
point.
done here. Yeah.
Governor Newsom, he hit it right on the money. This is one of those times you got to fight fire with fire.
Yeah.
If they want to tip the scale in their, tip the balance in their favor, then we need to tip the scale back.
Well, it was his original thought was that it was going to be contingent on whether or not Texas went through with their redistricting.
Which they
did.
At one point, before they even did that, I think Newsom, they went ahead and went forward with, because they knew that eventually
they had the bill written. It was ready to go. They didn't hit the button until after Texas was official.
Yeah.
Yep. And when Texas made it official, that's when Newsom pulled the trigger.
So I had some problems with Newsom earlier this summer. I thought that he was trying to be a centrist and trying to reason with guys like Charlie Kirk and, having Ben Shapiro on this podcast he had, and his language was somewhat conciliatory. I didn't feel like he was. But what do you guys think of what he's doing now? Because is he being a leader that the Democratic Party is needed for a while, or?
I don't know
in some ways.
I don't know if he's a presidential candidate type of leader, but he's the light of fire under everybody's ass kind of leader that we need right now.
Yeah. No, I want to say this too. Like you just said, you and Will get to vote on it. Nobody in Texas got to vote except their Senate and Congress
except
representatives.
the GOP.
Good points.
Yep.
I love
they got to vote in their gerrymandered districts to put them in the first place, but yeah, they don't get to vote about gerrymandering.
Yeah.
And that should be a national, nationally it should be a person vote.
Yeah.
Or state.
Well, there's two things, and this is just one man's opinion. Keep this in mind, guys. and I know I'm going to catch a bunch of flack behind it probably, but you know what? Damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead. There's two things in government and politics that need to be eliminated. One is gerrymandering. That's number one. The second thing that needs to get the old heave-ho is the damn electoral college.
Hallelujah.
It needs to go.
That's my
Absolutely.
whatever you want to call it. That's
Bulwark,
my
yeah.
bulwark. That's the thing I will stand on forever.
Because the bottom line is, how is it that the electoral college gets to supersede the majority vote?
Thank you.
How the hell does that happen?
And every time the electoral college supersedes the majority vote went to who?
Trump.
No.
The GOP.
No. I'm talking about every time the electoral college superseded the majority vote, it went to yeah, you're right. It went to the GOP.
It went to W. It went
yeah,
to
the Democrats were the ones that lost to the electoral college every time.
Yeah, it's its own gerrymander.
Yeah.
It's been around since 1800.
Not to mention the fact that if the state as a whole or your district or whatever, as a member of the electoral college, you do not have to follow the majority vote in your district and or state.
Right.
You don't have to. There's no rule about that. Now, my understanding is they always do.
Yeah,
but,
they'll get removed from their post for sure if they don't.
No.
But a little late for that.
Yep.
Well, those little MAGA fucking Trumpers, if they do that, they died on his hill. Excuse my language. I didn't mean to say Trump.
Well, I mean, this gerrymandering thing has been going on since like the 1800s. I heard on a podcast the story.
Everyone does
Probably
it.
since the 1700s.
Yeah.
Probably. But it was made popular. Remember Ross Perot?
Mm-hmm.
Right around the time of Ross Perot, it really got pulled out of the ashes of history and and both sides have been guilty of trying to use it as a political tool since then. But really, by all rights, this redistricting should come after the census, which is scheduled every 10 years, right? So they're trying to push this agenda. Of course, to win the midterms. Trump wants to win the midterms to keep the ball rolling, and if the GOP wins the midterms, then all bets are off. I mean, it's really like the last line of defense, in my estimation, because he's not building a 9,000 square foot ballroom in the White House not to be able to, meet heads of state as the king of America.
Not to be able to roll out a carpet for Putin there.
Yeah. There's a lot of items in any given fortnight. There's a lot of items that go around, like, but there's the fact that Putin or that Russia bombed the U.S. factory or co-owned U.S. factory in Ukraine last week after their little tea party in Alaska, and the stuff's going on with Kristi Noem, where she's the beneficiary of free housing now, and she kind of overstepped her bounds to get an official residence. I forget what she usurped the residence of another official, and now she's like living there rent free for whatever reason. They're trying to say it's a defense. She's in danger, I guess. But I really feel like, especially now that they're coming back from recess, that they really need to reintroduce Epstein, keep pushing. I know that Trump is trying to placate us with these slow release of redacted files, but the push needs to continue to be, everything needs to be about Epstein. He should be assaulted with questions about it every single opportunity people get.
Yeah. And I found a reel about how there was a point back in, I can't remember if it was the 80s or the 90s, where Germany sent out a general invitation saying to the Jews, there will be reparations, you are welcome to come back. No one really took them up on it. Okay? Guess what's happening now? American Jews are moving to Germany in record numbers.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Then the second reel that I found, and this is just, somebody was saying how Harris didn't really have a platform, and she wasn't planning on doing anything. And this is a few things that she stated on her platform on a regular basis. She wanted to make sure there was a $6,000 first child care credit for the first year of a child's life. Now that's not a lot of money, but it's $6,000, and if you're on maybe welfare or something, or you're homeless, $6,000 can be a lot of money. Okay. Now, the second one was the $25,000 tax credit for first-time home buyers. That would have been very, very helpful for us. Then there was a $2,000 cap on pharmaceuticals. So I guess that would have been probably like an annual cap. It doesn't specify. Then a 35.
Trump was going to reduce all those prices by 1,500%, 1,200%, 500%, 900%.
Then
how's that working out?
She wanted to extend the $35 cap on insulin to everyone, not just Medicare. Okay. And I remember her saying that specifically, I'm on insulin. Okay. And then the Inflation Reduction Act. She had something called, I don't have details on that, but it was a platform point, and she said it regularly. I remember that because I was like, I need to look that up, and I never did. And then one of the things that she found to be important was expanding high-speed broadband to rural communities.
Yeah.
Well, the thing was, too, a lot of people were accusing her of having her platform echo exactly that of Biden.
Those weren't exactly Biden.
No.
I mean, some of it.
The Inflation Reduction Act was Biden. That was 2022.
Okay. But not all of it was Biden.
Right. And the other thing is, too, is the amount of time that Harris had to create a platform after Biden was basically forced out of the election.
It was weeks, days.
It was days.
Yeah,
so Harris really didn't get to create that clear-cut platform that people were looking for.
Yeah, right. Biden really kind of shot everybody in the foot. But.
And that's why I say the Democratic Party, by forcing Biden out the way they did in the amount of time that they did, it set us up to fail.
Yeah. Well, I thought she whipped his ass in that debate.
Oh,
he gets his ass whipped in every debate.
Yeah.
Well, not so much against Biden.
Yeah,
but
he was,
the one,
Trump in a debate.
Not the last one.
The first Biden debate.
Yeah. I mean, Biden was one of the most savvy politicians I'd ever seen back around 2016, when he was vice president. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not saying that he was above board and everything he did was perfect or anything. Yeah. No. I'm saying
back when his health was better.
Debating, doing, appearing before cameras.
Hillary kicked Trump's ass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But somehow they don't care. They don't care that he's
there was a Hillary hatred going on at the time.
They're
antagonistic towards intelligence.
And they're antagonistic.
It's like they don't.
I mean, they're still trying. He's still trying to, I don't know. That idiot's still trying to figure out how to prosecute Obama for treason.
It's kind of pretentious to say intelligence.
Yeah, well, your president made that impossible, bitch. So.
Yeah.
they're antagonistic towards learning, towards accepting truth.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, they're killing PBS, anything that speaks the truth and speaks it well.
That's why they came up with that term, alternative facts. There are no alternative. There's no such thing as alternative facts.
No.
But anyway,
that's like saying the temperature outside is optional.
We're coming up on 56
Right.
minutes here. Are we doing the fuck up?
well,
stuff?
I wanted to say that we're not doing the fuck up this time because
Okay.
I wanted to ask you guys a question because Rob would still like for us to have another side person come on. How would you guys feel about that? To have like a debate with like a MAGA person?
I would love that.
Every time?
No,
not every
necessarily
time.
every time.
If you can find someone that can actually do it civilly and logically, I'm down for it.
Yeah,
I'm
and I
always
will
down
try
for
to keep my mouth shut.
Well, I told him that I thought it was very difficult to do that because when you give someone that will not accept facts, or they will not accept, it's difficult. But I said that I'd ask around, see what you guys thought. So
Hey,
maybe,
like I said, I'm always down for a good debate.
Yeah.
But keep it civil and keep it to the facts.
Right. I agree. All right. Well, I'll pass that along. He
Yeah.
doesn't really know anybody either at this point. It's just kind of a
That's the
concept.
thing.
Anybody who can speak.
I'm kind of hungry to debate somebody like that, but there is nobody like that because people that follow facts aren't
Well,
MAGA.
Republicans that I respect.
Either that or they're on the greedy side and they're beneficiaries of the whole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they won't. And most of them are opposed, like George Will, for instance.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
wherever
a
you
coffee
go,
mug.
Get him on the podcast to talk about.
Love to have George Will on the podcast. Go get him.
Unfortunately, with some people, it's
Of
like
course,
my coffee
he'd be on
mug
our
says-
side.
Yeah.
Like my coffee mug says in the kitchen, I'd love to have a battle of wits, but you appear to be unarmed.
Unarmed, yeah.
All right, guys. So I'll run that past him and we'll see how it goes. But we'll reconvene in 2 weeks and see where we're at. I'm sure things will be quite different.
Let me run down the F-ups of the fortnight. You guys don't have to vote. I'm just going to run them through because it's good. It's funny. Okay. Trump mistakes Russia for Alaska versus release the Epstein files.
Are they all going to be versus release the Epstein files?
Yep. Turn Washington, D.C. into a police state versus release the Epstein files. Trump causes politically fatal backlash by redistricting Texas versus
what?
Everybody say it.
Christy Nome saying to paint the wall black so people can't climb it anymore.
Oh, I love that one.
Versus.
Okay, that is funny. But versus release the Epstein file.
Yeah. That was going to be our send up.
Or how about the judge voting to disassemble Alligator Alcatraz versus releasing the Epstein files.
Right.
Yep. Let's but that's a positive, the disassemble of the of Alligator Alcatraz. That's a positive.
If it happens.
Well, it is for us, but not so much
They're
for
going to
Trump.
ignore it. But let's end it on a positive. We have a court win.
Yeah.
Who knows if it's going to stay?
A few
All right,
court
guys.
wins.
Okay.
Thanks
Bye.
Everybody, see you.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Hey, I'm going to have to do some